Vlogpose here with another vlog on Future Diary. So that was episode 7. And we got to see what happened with Fifth. Pretty much starts off with how the last episode ended off, where Fifth was sitting on the toilet trying to decide on what his course of action was going to be. Which was really cool. We got to see what his diary's like, and it's very childish. And probably out of all the diaries I've seen so far, it's probably the worst. So he's talking to his puppets on like how to, I don't know, it's almost like talking to an imaginary friend or whatever. I mean, he is still 5, so he's getting ideas from his puppets. One puppet says something, and the other puppet says something, and talking about that, and he's flipping through his diary, and he has 3 entries a day. That's it. And so one puppet was saying, "You only get 3 entries. That's a joke." And the other one says, "Well, that's 2 more than you need to win." So I guess you kind of have the devil and angel on your shoulder kind of thing with the 2 puppets talking. But yeah, then he pulls out something out of his bag. It was basically poison. So yeah, because that makes sense for a 5-year-old to get poison. So he helped out with making dinner. He had some special tomatoes, like the little tomatoes. Are those called cherry tomatoes? I don't know my fruits and vegetables, and salads are gross. Anyway, he injects a couple of those little tomatoes with the poison. So they're all sitting there, and he's got a big smile on his face as Yuki's eating the salad. He's like, "No, not the cucumber. You want to eat the tomato." And Yuno's got one of the tomatoes on her fork, and she's like, "Something's not right here." And Fifth's, then the kid's like, "Okay, did she catch on to this?" And so Yuki's about to eat one. She says, hold on. "This tomato feels heavier than it did when I picked them." "Oh, well, it's probably just water retention." "No." So she grabs both bowls and throws them away. And the kid still has a big smile on his face, thinking like, huh, does she know? So then, of course, she apologizes. "Hey, I'm sorry I threw away your salad. I bet that took a lot of time to make." "Oh, it's okay." Because he's trying to act all cute and innocent, like a 5-year-old. But we know that he's not a cute, innocent 5-year-old. There were a couple scenes in there. Instead of Yuno being the scary one, the kid was the scary one. You had a fisheye lens at one point, and you had the big grin on his face like, "Oh, she is good." And then I think he said something like, "I think I'm in love." So yeah. Then I guess was his next course of action, which would be electrocution. So Yuno's about to take a bath or whatever, and he walks in naked or whatever, and he's got some electrical wires. Oh yeah, that made no sense to me. Okay, I understand that he is a child prodigy and is probably the smartest 5-year-old ever. But the stuff that he was doing was stuff that even I don't know how to do. Like, he was talking about 110 volts is lethal, and then adding salt and tap water is enough to amplify it even further or whatever. Okay, maybe it's because we don't have a killing mindset like this little 5-year-old does, but that's I don't know, that's just a little too sophisticated for this little 5-year-old. Anyway, Yuki's looking at his phone because the future keeps changing. He's like, okay, there's got to be another user involved, but where would this other diary user be coming from? And then one of the updates was Yuno was about to be electrocuted, And he thought, oh, I'm not going to make it in time. So he looks in the kitchen, his mom's using the microwave, and thought, okay, well, I'm going to turn the air conditioning on, I'm going to turn the TV on, and the hair dryer at full blast, and then he sticks the wires in the water right when the power shuts off. And I thought, my complaint here is, as clever as it is to blow the breaker, wouldn't it just been quicker to run up the stairs rather than try to figure out, okay, what can I turn on here to blow the breaker? The time that it took him to do that, Yuno probably would have been dead. So, fortunately, he was fine because it's anime and weird things happen. But that was probably my biggest complaint with this episode, was that moment. Plus the fact that Yuno let this 5-year-old get that close to her, despite knowing that he could have potentially poisoned her earlier. Because, I don't know, I know I had this debate with some people that I watched it with, talking about, you have this child that's 5 years old taking a bath with a 14-year-old girl who's not related to you. That's a little strange. Even if she was related, it's not like it's your mother. It's not your sister, it's not your mother, it's a stranger that you just met. So, yeah, that was a little suspicious. Anyway, Yuki runs upstairs after the power's out, and the little boy runs out of the room. He's got rubber gloves on because he knew that he was about to electrocute somebody. And he runs out of the room giggling or whatever. Yeah, that was... That whole scene just didn't make sense, I guess. Meanwhile, the whole time after that, Yuno's like, well, we could just kill him. And Yuki's like, no, I don't want a child's blood on my hands, which, well, whether you destroy him or destroy the diary, you're still going to kill him in the end, so it doesn't matter. So I don't know, well, it is Yuki. He's a wimpy complainer, and, well, yeah, he definitely would have died. He would have been the first one to die if it wasn't for Yuno. He would have died from third, but since Yuno's been there, that's the only reason why he survived this long, taking down, what did I say, 5 diary users? 3? Yeah, he's taken down 3 diary users, only because, well, no, Yuno killed 12. But he's taken down 3rd and 6th. But he only did that because of Yuno. Anyway. I keep getting off topic here, because there's just issues, I guess, with this episode. I enjoyed it. It was a fun episode, because once the episode actually got going, because they were looking for his diary, there was a part where Yuno thought, okay, well, if I was a 5-year-old boy, where would I hide my diary? And she gets all silhouetted or whatever, except for her eyes, and she lays down on the table, very strange, like. Even Yuki walks in, he says, please don't be dead. But, oh, okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself here, because they were looking throughout the whole house, I don't know, in cabinets and under the chairs and everything, anything that a 5-year-old would be able to get a hold of, and they couldn't find it. So that's why she was doing that, and she realized that that there's a delivery coming, and that was right when the doorbell rang. Now, I know why that happened. You know what? Why don't we talk about that? I'm going to do similar to what I did a couple episodes ago, where those who have not seen it, please skip over, because this is one of the biggest plot twists of the series. Talking to those who have seen this before. I have a feeling that since she has already become God from the first timeline, she's using that infinite knowledge library thing that Deus has, that record has all the records of everything, that all the memories that have ever happened. That's probably where she got that information from. That's my guess. What do you guys think on that? Only the... Oh, well, how am I going to put that in the comments? Because could be new viewers being like, wait, what? It's the second timeline. What are you talking about? So, maybe not. I guess just ponder on that. Okay, back to everybody. Delivery comes. Delivery man is about to hand the package over to this child, and Yuki grabs it, which then of course updates his diary of Big Bro takes the package, which I know I keep calling him little child. His number slipped out. His number is 5th. We learned that from 9th, who was hanging out in her cabin in the woods somewhere. She got a text from 4th, and she's like, why is he keeping me on the loop on this? And then he says the 5th has infiltrated Yukiteru's house. And so she thought, okay, 5th. And she thought, oh great, it's the toddler. She thought, oh, that's satisfying to watch this stupid kid get beaten by this half-pint toddler. So yeah, 9th was kind of rooting for 5th there. So yeah, anyway. This is a very smart 5-year-old, because Yuki's about to open this package, and Yuno's diary changes and realizes, don't open that. And of course he opens it because he's an idiot, and poison powder fills up throughout the whole house. So naturally he passes out, she drags him to the bathroom, and then it becomes a showdown, 2nd versus 5th. So while that battle's going on, he's just checking his phone, and since he's stuck in the bathroom, it says home, toilet, nothing unusual. He thought, oh man, this diary's useless while I'm in here. And you're probably wondering, where's Mom during all this, which I forgot to mention. While Yuno was chasing 5th through the house with a mallet, his mom comes downstairs and she accidentally smacks her in the head with the hammer. So, good job, Yuno. You almost killed your potential mother-in-law. Fortunately, she's fine. She just passed out, and they just kind of put her in the room asleep. This was before 5th started acting out. So then 5th decided to challenge Yuno to a game of hide-and-seek. And so she's holding her breath as she's going throughout the house, and he's set up little traps for her, like some recorded laughing box thing in the pantry or whatever, and there was a stuffed animal under a blanket that squeaks, and there was thumbtacks all over the floor in one room that she almost stepped on. She's running out of breath, so she breaks a window to catch her breath again. And she realizes, okay, well, he's not downstairs. He must be upstairs somewhere. So she starts climbing up the stairs, and he is at the top of the stairs on top of a table, and water is running down there. He has a lamp, and so she gets electrocuted, and she falls down the stairs. And 5th asks a very good question. If the whole point of this game is to kill everybody, then why is she trying so hard to protect 1st? Now, she says it's because she loves him, which that could be true. But 5th also brought up a good point of, well, then you're still going to have to battle him in the end when it's just the two of you left. He has a good point there. So how is Yuno going to get out of that one? But then again, we don't have to worry about that right now. We're only 7 episodes into the series, and we still have, what, 9 diary users left? Is that right? Yeah, because we've only killed 3rd, 6th, and 12th. So yeah, we still have 9 diary users left. 8 left after this episode. So yeah, that's still quite a bit. And then Yuki finally gets the strength to leave the bathroom and finds her unconscious on the stairs. He kisses her which then gives her the strength to keep going. How does that work? You know what it reminds me of? That is so much fairy tale right there. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is autographed. Because that is just such a fairy tale thing to do. It's like the power of friendship or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's still... It was cool on how she defeated him in the end. And that she... I guess you could just say that now that her man is there, she gathered the strength that she needed, which I think there is some truth to that, where when you realize that there are other people on the line that you care about, then you find the strength that you didn't know you had. It's just very anime cliche. But whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just cliche, that's all I'll say about it. So, anyway, she then gathers the strength to corner him at the top of the stairs, and she stabs him. Of course, there's a cutaway because they don't want to show even that level of violence in this show, which was kind of surprising because we got to see an eye being plucked out, we got to see arms being chopped off, but I guess that was too much for this for the show to show. And so then, in his dying breath, he reaches out his hand and gives her the needle with the antidote for the poison. But I think both of them are poisoned, even though he says you don't have to worry about holding your breath anymore when she got electrocuted. I'm pretty sure she still breathed a lot of that in, so they were both poisoned. By the way, Fifth was wearing a gas mask this whole time. I should have mentioned that, but the pictures show that. So yeah, then there was a very unexpected end to this episode, where Yuki wakes up to Ninth walking away and says, "Word of advice, kid, kill her now." So Ninth, who attacked Yuki, almost blew him up a few episodes ago, saved him from dying, which again brings up Fifth's point of, why are you saving another diary user? What point, what purpose does Ninth have right now to save Yuki and Yuno? Well, Yuki, I guess, and of course Yuki's not going to save Yuno because he would have been dead without her anyway. So yeah, that's probably my biggest question, and I don't know if we ever get that answer. Why did Ninth save Yuki here? So, I guess there were a few issues with it. Just questions of, huh? But it was still a very enjoyable episode. I really enjoyed the hide-and-seek portion and some of Fifth's ideas before we discovered that... before they discovered. Now, Yuno had her suspicions from the start, which... the tomato thing didn't fully make sense, unless maybe it's because of what you know about her later in the series. Maybe that's why she knew about it, possibly. Or maybe she is that observant of this tomato is slightly heavier than it should have been. I don't know. Same with the electrocution thing. It's almost like she should have known that, but she didn't. But she did, but then she knew, supposedly, on the delivery of his diary. So yeah, that was that episode. And then we had the murmur moment where she was talking to Fifth about him being a diary user. He was playing in a playground in the sandbox, and he says, "Are aliens real? Because if gods are real, then aliens must be real." And so then she decided to do this or whatever, to do something with her voice, and then she got sucked up into a flying saucer or whatever. He's like, "Wow, it's really an alien!" And then so they're flying around the Earth, and she says, and he says, "Wow, it makes you feel how insignificant we all are." And she says, "Well, if you win the diary game, then you won't be what was the word again?" So they're up in the sky, and Murmur says, if you win the game, then you won't be insignificant anymore. And he's like, screw that, I want to be self-sufficient. Which, for me, my issue there was his intelligence is inconsistent. Because he knows on how to cut cables and wires and mix with salt to increase the potency of electrocution, and he knows how to poison people. He knows big words like self-sufficient and insignificant, but he doesn't know that winning the game to be less insignificant is more important than just being self-sufficient or whatever. I know that he is a smart 5-year-old. I think they made him too smart, but I think they needed to make him that smart, because if he wasn't that smart, then he would be at an even more disadvantage than he already is. Now, granted, we have our main characters are two 14-year-olds versus, I don't know, you have Ninth, who, well, she's definitely steps above where Yuki would be and where Yuno should be, but there are reasons for that I'm not getting into. But yeah, anyway, what'd you guys think of this episode? Like I said, watch the episode and then watch this, and then we'll talk about the 7th episode with 5th of Future Diary, and talk about what worked, what didn't work, what were some of the important key elements that I missed, that was one of the things I was talking about when the camera was shutting off, was Yuno's intelligence was a little inconsistent in this episode. Now, she knew about the tomato, but she wasn't quite sure what was off about it, and she trusted this 5-year-old to take a bath with her after he just tried to poison her. So she wasn't really all that smart there, but yet she gained the knowledge just by concentrating or focusing that she was going to get that delivery in mere seconds after she thought of that. So I think even here she was inconsistent with her intelligence. So anyway, what do you guys think? I know why Yuno possibly could have had that thought, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Try not to spoil things, but maybe go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments on that. Leave your thoughts and comments on why Ninth saved Yuki, even though it was probably a good idea to leave him dead, so that way there are less diary users, because in that situation we could have eliminated 3 diary users there. We could have eliminated 1st, 2nd, and 5th. We just only eliminated 5th there. So that means that 9th would be way further ahead than the others. Then again, maybe she had a deal with 1st that maybe, or with 4th that maybe she had to save 1st. I don't know. Something about it doesn't add up. Anyway, leave your thoughts and comments down below. We'll start something going in the comments section, and let's move on to episode 8. And I'm trying to think on what diary user we meet next, but we'll all find out together. And I will catch you then.